Hi, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 3 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator, week by week, built the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes, and explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator, issue 1, just $1.99.
So here we are, episode 3, and today we've been doing the right arm component, which is actually the piston for the arm, as you see here. So we're going to be assembling that today, and then we're also going to be doing the right finger, and we'll be testing with this battery pack here the lights for the eyes from the first issue. So looking forward to doing this one. Looks pretty cool. It mentions here on the list, by the way, that there's 2 screws, PB ones. We only need 1, but they have included 1 extra as always, which is always handy. So yeah, let me show you the actual components and then we can get started. From the top we have the eyes and upper jaw. Obviously this is what we're going to be using with the battery pack here and the circuit, LED test circuit, this part here. This is what we'll be using to test if the actual eyes work or not. Fingers crossed they do. But we won't be doing that for that part first. Just to mention as well, by the way, you need 3 AAA batteries for the test pack. I've already put them inside there, so it's quite easy. Just unscrew it and just pop them on. And then working our way down, this is actually these are the 3 parts for the piston. With the 2 screws I mentioned before, you've got the PB ones there, which are 2 times PM, 3 times 8mm screws. You only need 1, so obviously I'll just take 1 away for now as a spare. And then lastly, we've also got the components for the right finger. So I've laid them out as it is in the book, just to keep it nice and easy and clearer for me when I have to do that. But that part we'll be doing last. Also I've got a screwdriver. I'd advise getting a magnetic one, because sometimes it can be quite tricky to get the screws in. You can also just use gravity to get the screw in a bit easier by having it upside down, or just have a magnetic one like I have here. And also a set of tweezers is always handy, because for example for these parts here they're going to be quite fiddly and tricky, so I might use the tweezers for that. So yeah, that's everything there, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so part 1, the pivot for the right arm is actually very easy. So we just take this first part here, 3-1, and twist it in. Then you take 3-3, which is the thinner one, slide it into there. And then lastly, I'm going to take one of the PB screws and just going to use gravity here to get it in there, and then screw it in, as so. Just get that last bit there now, tighten it up nice and firmly, but be careful not to obviously damage the screw. You don't want to blunt it essentially, so you can't twist anymore. That's it, nice and secure. I did mention, by the way, every part of this piston is metal and it's actually quite heavy. But that's done now, so I can put that to one side and we can move on to testing the light. So first of all, I've turned the power on, and I need to put this wire here, the power wire, into the actual circuit board. So I'm just gonna plug that in there. Okay, that's in nicely. So I've set up the right eye first, and we're just going to give it a little test now. So we have success with the first light. Just turn it off and on again. There we go. So the right light is working. How cool is that? Now let's do the left one. Make sure you're very careful when you take these out, because they are very fragile. Just pop the left one in. And yes, there we go. The left one is also working. God, I can't wait to watch these move around at night time. That's so cool. So yeah, that's part 2 complete for the testing of the lights. Now we can move on to making the first finger. Okay, so now we move on to the final section, which is assembling the finger of the right hand from the right arm. Now make sure you lay it out as I have done here, because we'll be working our way from, this is your right, my left, so working from 3.7, part 3.7, and we're going to go all the way along to 3.11, this being the last section here. So first of all, I need to take part 3.7 and part 3.8 and just fit them together like so. Next, I'm going to take one of the little screws, this is 312, and I'm going to pop it in the top of 3.8. It's quite stiff, by the way, so you might need to use a little bit of force. So once you've got that first part in there, you pop it on here like so. You can see. I'm just going to put that through there. And I'm just going to secure it with one of the smaller parts here. So this is 313. These are the very small ones. That will just go in to secure the first part. Just going to pop that in. So there we go. There's the first part done. And you can see it moves. It's movable. So now we continue to work our way down the chain, and just like the first two parts with 3.7 and 3.9, we're going to move on now to part 3.10, and we're going to just repeat the process. So I'm going to grab another, this time the 3.13 part goes on the top, that's the smaller one, so put that in there first. And then grab another 312, and we're just going to put that through. I think I'll do that first. It's actually quite fiddly. Not good for me because I've got very heavy hands, but I'll get there, just like you guys will as well. That's gone on. That one was much easier that time. The first one was a pain in the arse, to be honest, but this one has been easy, much easier. I'm just going to put the 313, the little connector in at the top. Okay, and you can see now that's taking more form. And then last but not least, we are going to move on to 3.11. So this time the larger part 3.12 will be going on top. So just push that through. Bear with me, my hands are quite slippery. It's quite hot today, hot summer's day. It might help as well, I also put it the right way up. There we go, that's that in there. push that through. There you go, that's clipped in nicely, and then we secure it with the last little part, which is 313 at the bottom. So I'm just going to pop that in here. And there you go, that's that secured. And just pop this part back on the end again from the beginning, which was 3/7, and there you go, the first finger. How cool is that? As you can see, it articulates. It's very movable, so it's definitely going to create a realistic effect when it's all put together. So yeah, that's that. So thank you for tuning in for episode 3. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today, and if you did, please like and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Also share my content if you liked it as well. So just a recap from today, really. As I mentioned before, we did the piston for the right arm. We also did the finger, the first finger. Lastly, we also wired up and connected the eye, the 2 eyes, if you remember. So next issue will be actually completing the first arm. So this is everything that will be in the next one, all the components for the right arm. And we actually will be using some parts from previous issues. So if you remember from the first one, this one hasn't been used since then. So this component will be used. And also from the last issue, episode 2, which we put together in the last one, this will be used also. So these 2 components, along with the piston from today, and lastly all the new components from part 4 will be added and put together, and we'll have our first arm. So maybe it'll be as big as this one, I don't know. Mine are small, so who cares. I will see you soon for episode 4.